80 years ago, in the closing months of World War II, Zhang Jingzhao, then aged 15, was about to experience one of life's great milestones, her final day of school. But it isn't classmates or diplomas she remembers most vividly.
畢業迄久哦，當咧空手，迄空手伊會對遐來呼叫，直直來頭仔來攏無甲你動，攏無甲你迄啥，干那呢來，干那呢咱就驚甲心肝骨就砰砰菜啊。
The May 31st, 1945 air raid on Taipei was the worst to hit Taiwan during the war. The island, then a colony of the Japanese Empire, was a key strategic hub in Japan's war effort.
Japan had occupied Formosa, Korea, and part of China.
Taiwan plays a fundamental role in both trade, and due to its kind of maritime crossroads as one approaches Southeast Asia. Of course, and it also plays an important military hub as the war expands from the late 1930s, but then really with the Pacific War in the early 1940s, because the majority of many ships will travel through that area.
The Allied air forces began bombing Taiwan in earnest in 1943, but early raids were sporadic, mostly carried out by smaller carrier-based planes with light payloads targeting industrial areas. Zhang Jingzhao could see and hear them from as far away as Xindian in what is now New Taipei.
They were hitting hard all over the map, all around the clock.
迄個飛行機來空襲阮的，頭仔來是呼呼阮的，互恁大家走啊，未互恁大家驚咧，尾仔來毋是哦，迄炸彈，安尼帶咱這邊山，安尼照過這邊。
Lin Wenming was in Wanli in what is now New Taipei when it was attacked as part of U.S. bombings targeting the key port of nearby Geelong.
我跟我妈，那个坐那个汽油车啊，火车啊，那时候也是汽油车嘛，都是站光复啊，在望里，在那高站里面，就美国的飞机来轰炸，4台就在轰炸。那时候我也很小，里面就死了好多人。
In May 1945, with Germany defeated, the U.S. turned its full might towards the Empire of Japan. On the final day of May, 117 heavier B-24 bombers left the recently liberated Philippines bound for Taipei, where they met almost no resistance.
迄B-29的迄個飛行機啊，一擺3隻，一隻做頭前，啊兩隻做較步道邊遐安尼，啊都3隻各一堆，3隻各一堆，規個天頂吼，安尼攏對迄角飛來。 啊，飛對安尼入去，也安尼呼呼叫哦，規個天啊強要夾起來，呼呼叫，迄安尼，啊3台一堆，3台一堆，3台一堆，差不多早時10點，都來啊。
The bombings continued until about 1 in the afternoon, killing an estimated 3,000 people in just 3 hours. Around 3,000 bombs ravaged Taipei's central government district. Strategic sites like Taipei Main Station were hit, along with landmarks such as parks, what is now the presidential office, and Longshan Temple.
大路攏安尼烽煙散霧，安尼攏毋知哪會攏有。掃啥咧掃有火呢？沿路安尼聽人咧喊，過來咧哭，過去咧哭，頭聲遐哦，安尼哭到吼叫。
The bombings brought the city to a standstill, driving home the fact that by May of 1945, the tide of war had turned firmly against the Japanese Empire.
Taiwan certainly felt the effects of the war. There was significant Allied bombing at various points in the war on Taipei and other cities, which essentially were considered to be under Japanese occupation, or at least part of the Japanese Empire.
Sources differ, but around 5,000 civilians in Taiwan were killed in air raids during World War II. Most of them on May 31st. 80 years later, the raid is only vaguely remembered, suppressed by Cold War narratives and overshadowed by far deadlier attacks elsewhere around the same time.
當陣無迄驚到都膽都強要破去哦！迄做囡仔都驚到安尼啊，會使講定定逐工嘛一個面青順順，我要驚死安尼。
Zhang Jinsao still lives in Xindian in a small home surrounded by her children and grandchildren. Lin Wenming spent his life painting before retiring to Hualien. Their lives have spanned empires, republics, and generations, but the bombing of Taipei is something that they'll never forget. Ryan Wu, Ed Moon, Jeffrey Chen, and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
Who examined the damages with amazement